And we are back. NFL Week 5 predictions. Let's get it. Starting out, to quickly recap last week, I ended up going 12-3-1, making my season total 52-11-1, getting the Commanders, Falcons, Chargers, Giants, and Ravens, Chiefs wrong, with the Packers, Cowboys being a tie. We don't count ties as a win or a loss. We count them as a tie because, let's be honest, if you predict a tie, you're a psychopath. Also, I picked the Buffalo Bills as my lock of the week. They ended up winning. I am now 4-0 in that category. Starting out this week, we are doing bye weeks as well. The teams who are going to be on a bye week are the Steelers, who are 3-1, the Packers, who are 2-1-1, the Bears and the Falcons, who are 2-2. So those teams don't play this week. Let's get it. Starting out, we have 49ers or Rams, both 3-1, both coming off of, surprising games, really good games, actually. The Rams upsetting the Colts, saying, hey, you're no longer undefeated. 49ers, on the other hand, get upset by the Jaguars. Jaguars say, hey, you're no longer undefeated. Both by 1 scores, both really good games. I'm going with the Rams, though, because this is in L.A., even though, the 49ers fans are huge over there, arguably bigger than the Rams fans. I just like the Rams roster more, especially with all the injuries the 49ers are suffering through, so I'm going to take the Rams for this one. Moving on, we have the 2-2 Vikings versus the 1-3 Browns. The Vikings coming off of a loss in Dublin, Ireland, but they're now going to London, England. While the Browns ended up losing very badly to the Lions. The key thing about this game is the Browns have announced earlier today that Dillon Gabriel is going to be the starting quarterback this week. I'm taking the Vikings. You're giving a rookie his first career start against a top, you could count on one hand defense, top 5. Yeah, give me the Vikings, and I don't even think it's going to be close. Moving on to our 1 p.m. game after, the 2 Thursday and early morning game. We have the Cowboys and the Jets. Cowboys 1-2-1 coming off of a tie, 40-40 versus the Packers, while the Jets coming off of a 27-21 loss on Monday night to the Dolphins. I'm going to take the Cowboys here. The Cowboys actually looked really good. The big concern, however, was their defense looked lackluster, obviously allowing 40 points, but their offense scored 40 points with CeeDee Lamb missing. That's a big plus. The Jets, they're winless for a reason, even though they've looked, honestly not terrible in the games they've played, they just haven't been able to get the win. I don't think that's going to change this week. I'm taking the Cowboys. Moving on, we have the Giants and Saints. Giants 1-3, picking up their first win of the season behind Jackson Dart against the Chargers, who were undefeated at the time, 21-18. While the Saints, they kept it close with the Bills, and then the fourth quarter came around and they lost. I'm taking the Giants here. I think the Saints, studied all of their film against the Bills. I think they're going to be lackluster against the Giants. I think Jackson Dart is going to take advantage of a mediocre team. I think the Giants are going to win this one. Moving on now, we have the Raiders and Colts. Raiders 1-3 coming off of a loss to the Bears where their go-ahead field goal got blocked. And the Colts ended up losing to the Rams. So what was a really good game. One team I'm a really big fan of, and the Colts. One team I think is, not good. That's the Raiders. It's pretty obvious who I'm going with. I'm taking the Colts. I don't think they're going to be a trap game. Don't see the Colts losing back-to-back, especially when you barely lose to the Rams. I don't think you're losing to the Raiders. Yeah. Dolphins and Panthers. Dolphins and Panthers both 1-3. Dolphins coming off of their first win of the season, 27-21 against the division foe in the Jets. While the Panthers, on the other hand, they kind of got blown out by the Patriots. I don't know who's going to be their starting quarterback because they benched Bryce Young at the end of the game. I'm taking the Panthers. With all this confusion, it would not surprise me if they ended up winning this game. No matter who their quarterback is, I just really think they could win this game. Tyreek Hill obviously out for the season. I know people are talking about it could be a career-ending injury. Obviously, we hope that's not going to be the case. One of the most electric players of my lifetime, and it's, I've only been around for 19 years, and I don't see it changing much that, he will be one of the most electric people I ever see. I'm taking the Panthers, though. I think the Dolphins are going to be riding off their high of getting their first win. They're going to slip to a game they should honestly probably win. Broncos-Eagles, this is actually a really good one on paper. 2-2 Broncos coming off of a dominant 28-3 win over the Bengals, while the Eagles 4-0 coming off of a nice win over the Buccaneers. Had it in the bag, choked it away, but were able to hold on for the win. I'm going to take the Eagles here. I don't see the Eagles losing this one. As much as I said it'd be a good game, I think this will be a very close one. It's just that Broncos offense has not played how, I expected them to play going into year 2. With all the potential it showed year 1. With that being said, I think the Eagles are going to be a much better defense than they're used to matching up against, and I think it's going to cause them to struggle. I think even with the Broncos having a great defense, I think the Eagles are going to win this one in, it'll be convincing fashion score-wise, but I will be a lot closer than what the score will say. Final 1 o'clock game, we have the Texans and the Ravens, both 1-3. Texans picking up their first win, 26-0 against the Titans, while the Ravens, they ended up losing 37-20 to the Chiefs. The big thing that happened in that game is Lamar Jackson got injured. He's projected to be out 2 to 3 weeks, probably until their Week 7 bye week would make the most sense to me. With that being said, I'm under the impression he's going to be out, and if he's out of this game, I think it's going to be the Texans, and I don't think it'll be very close. No offense to Cooper Rush or anything, but yeah, give me the Texans. 4:05 slate, we have 2 of them. Titans 0-4, Cardinals 2-2. Titans coming off of, we just talked about it, actually a 26-0 loss to the Texans, while the Cardinals, they ended up losing by a field goal, 23-20 on Thursday night to the Seahawks. I'm going to take the Cardinals here strictly because the Titans have not looked very good. The Cardinals have actually looked decent. They look, mid. They don't look like they're going to, cause a lot of problems, but they definitely are going to hang around in a lot of games. Winning some, losing some, probably finishing around 500. So I'm going to take the Cardinals here. Next, we have Buccaneers-Seahawks. This should be a good one. Both 3-1. Buccaneers get their first loss of the season to the Eagles, and the Seahawks we just talked about moving to 3-1 with a win over the Cardinals. They've won 3 in a row now. I'm going to take the Buccaneers here. However, this is one of those games I'm not very confident in because both teams have actually looked really good. Granted, Seahawks, I'd like to apologize. I said I didn't think Sam Darnold was going to be very good. He has shut me up. I apologize to Seahawks, Sam Darnold, everyone. I was so far wrong about him. I'm going to take the Buccaneers, though, because I just think the Buccaneers defense is going to be a bit too much for that Seahawks offense. In my opinion, the Seahawks are too revolving around Kenneth Walker and Jackson Smith-Njigba. I think it's going to be pretty obvious to lock both of them up, just, defend the run and, have Jackson Smith-Njigba in pressure. I think the Buccaneers are going to win this one. Moving on to our 4:25 games, we have 2 of them. First being the 3-1 Lions against the 2-2 Bengals. Lions blowout win over the Browns. Bengals blowout loss to the Broncos. I'm going to take the Lions here, and we're going to take them as my lock of the week. I'll say it every episode in case you never know. Lock of the week, it's basically the ESPN Eliminator Challenge, if you've heard of it, where every week you pick one team to win their game. If they win, great. If not, you're out. However, my twist is you're not out. You just keep picking, and it counts towards, wins and losses. The only rule is you can't pick the same team twice, so you got to think, do I want to waste my pick on the good teams, or do I want to save it for, mediocre teams who I like in their matchup? Most times I've done the mediocre times. This time, I'm going all in on the good teams. So, give me the Lions. No offense, Bengals, I just don't think you're going to beat Jake Browning, or you're going to beat the Lions with Jake Browning as your quarterback. Commanders-Chargers, 2-2 Commanders versus 3-1 Chargers. Commanders ended up losing to the Falcons, while the Chargers ended up losing to the Giants. Both close games. Still no word that Jaden Daniels is going to be back. I imagine he will be. However, I think he's going to be very limited on his mobility. I think the Chargers are going to take full advantage of that. I think this will be a very close one up until the end, but I think the Chargers are going to pull away and be comfortable for the rest of the game, probably win by 10 points. So, give me the Chargers. Sunday Night Football, we have the Patriots, who are 2-2, and the Bills, who are 4-0. Patriots and Bills both coming off of wins. The Patriots blowout against the Panthers, while the Bills closer than they probably would have liked, but they do beat the Saints. I'm going to take the Bills here. I do think this is a Beautiful game for the Patriots, though. I think this is going to be close no matter what. And don't be surprised if the Patriots upset this one. I actually really like the Patriots to win this one over the Bills. It's just with how the first 4 games of the season have gone for the Bills, it's hard for me to pick against them. So I'm going to take the Bills, but I'm on upset watch here. So don't be surprised if New England wins this one. And then finally, October 6th, 8:15 p.m., we have the 2-2 Chiefs versus the 3-1 Jaguars. The Chiefs and Jaguars both pick up wins. Chiefs 37-20 over the Ravens. Jaguars 26-20 against the 49ers. I'm taking the Chiefs. The Chiefs have just looked so good these past 2 games. Yes, they struggled against the Giants, but they were able to, at least get something going. They turned that momentum into a win over the Ravens. While the Jaguars, well, they've looked good. I just don't think they're going to beat the Chiefs. It's kind of one of those where, with track record and all that, it's kind of hard to pick against the Chiefs. So I'm going to take the Chiefs. To quickly recap my picks, I have the Rams, Vikings, Cowboys, Giants, Colts, Panthers, Eagles, Texans, Cardinals, Buccaneers, Lions, Chargers, Bills, and Chiefs all winning their games, with the Lions being the lock of the week. I'm currently 12-3-1. Last week, putting my total to 42-11-1, or 52-11-1, 4-0 on my lock of the weeks. The Steelers, Packers, Bears, and Falcons all on bye weeks. And in case you're curious about the playoff picture, obviously no teams have clinched or been eliminated yet. But sitting at the 1 seeds, we have the Bills and Eagles both at 4-0. The 2 seeds being the 3-1 Chargers and 3-1 49ers. 7 seeds being the 2-2 Chiefs and then the 2-1-1 Packers. The 3 seeds being the 3-1 Lions and 3-1 Steelers. 6 seeds being the 2-2 Bengals and the 3-1 Rams. 4 seeds being the 3-1 Colts, 3-1 Buccaneers. 5 seeds being the 3-1 Jaguars, 3-1 Seahawks. Let me know how you think I did in my predictions. If you agree with any picks, disagree. I will go ahead and see you guys next time, which should probably be Rams franchise, or Raiders franchise if you watch. If not, it'll be back to power rankings. All right.